Here we are with video 6 of chapter 1. This is going to be wrapping up the Revolutionary War. It's real quick. It's 2 slides. We're going to talk about a couple of battles. We're going to talk about the Treaty of Paris and some of the things on that. And we're just going to wrap it up at that point, so that way we're able to talk about what America is going to be once this war is going to be over. So, as you see, the title, Fighting on Other Fronts. We'll talk about that more towards the end. But the beginning here is almost kind of a little bit of review. You know, I don't want to kind of keep bringing up the same things over and over again, but this is what's going to be going on chronologically throughout the war. So General Cornwallis, again, he is in charge of the British. He is in charge of the Redcoats. They capture Savannah. So they now take over Georgia. And one of the things that we've talked about before and why they want to take over Georgia, that's where the Loyalists are. They know in the north they're starting to have a little bit more patriots. They're starting to kind of take that area over. So there again, they're heading south to get people on their side. Make sure they're going to be able to get more troops. Make sure they're going to be able to keep this war going on longer. So that's the first thing. 5 months after they take over Georgia, they start to head north. And that is when they take on Charleston, South Carolina, and force the surrender of nearly 5,500 American soldiers. This is by far the biggest defeat that the Americans have suffered. The tides had been on the side of the colonists, of the patriots. But with that losing, or with that loss, those 5,500 soldiers, now they're going to be forced to go to a POW camp. It's almost kind of like a new game at this point. The Redcoats aren't willing to give up. They're not willing to surrender. They just showed that they're going to win this major battle. But 5 months after, again, shortly after there, October 7th, 1780, the Patriots, they win what's called the Battle of Kings Mountain. And what this does, this drives most of the British out of the South. Now, when I say most of the British, that's going to be a reference to most of the Loyalists. The people that were on the side of the British, they didn't really think that we needed to fight in this war. If they were going to fight, though, they were going to be on that side there. So, you know, it's kind of quick, almost a little bit hypocritical to say that here Cornwallis, they capture Savannah, they win this battle in Charleston, the tides are on their side, but shortly after, it switches again. But that's what's going to be happening throughout this war. So Patriots win the Battle of the Kings Mountain. And then at this time, we also get the founding of the American Navy. Now, one thing I know I've talked a lot about. We, on paper, when I say we, the colonists, the Americans, they were not supposed to win this war. They did not have the training. They did not have the number of soldiers. And probably the biggest negative, they did not have a navy. The British, they are well known for having the strongest, the most powerful, the best trained navy in the world. So America, they found a navy, but the hard part is we can say we have a navy, but what are we going to use for it? We don't have the resources right away to start building these ships. We don't have the ships at that point. So Congress, they're going to issue letters of marque, which basically what that does, if you are a merchant and you have a ship, you can bring that into the war. You're going to be paid for it. You're going to be compensated. So if something happens to it, the government is going to be able to help you out that way. But they're just kind of doing this to help out and get more people within the fighting here. And then the last part, the American victory. Now, the last major battle is going to take place in Yorktown, Virginia. It's going to be known as the Battle of Yorktown. And the British, it's kind of almost a bad or a bold strategy, whatever you want to call it, but they had most of their soldiers in this one location. They had about 8,000 soldiers. And we knew that they were there. So General Washington, he is going to start to head there. He is going to get to Yorktown and start this last kind of battle. Now, while he is on his way to Yorktown, the French are also starting to arrive. Again, they are the first people to say that we are free, we are an independent country. They are going to openly fight against the British. So the French, they are on their way, but they're not really coming to help out and fight in the ground battle. They are coming by sea. And the reason that they're coming by sea, Yorktown is right on the coast. So the French, they are going to block the coast. When you think about it, here you have the British. They are right in the middle. Okay. Over here you have the Patriots. They are starting to come in. They're starting to take them over. Now, they can either keep fighting. They're outnumbered. Odds are they're going to surrender. So they want to surrender by taking to the sea. Now, if they can't get to the sea because the French are blocking them, they really have no escape. Either fight a battle on 2 separate fronts, which they cannot do at this point, or they can surrender. So on October 19th, 1781, Cornwallis and about 8,000 British soldiers, they are forced to surrender. Once this news gets to Parliament, and I don't know if I talked about it before, but Parliament, that is going to be the lawmaking body of the British or Great Britain, they are going to surrender. So at this point, the war is now over. The Treaty of Paris of 1783 officially ends the war. Now, it takes some time, as you see, to get there. We're kind of almost like in what we call like limbo here. We know the war is over. We know we're trying to kind of come up with these peace talks. But in 1783, that is when the war is officially going to end. And, it's kind of a couple things about it. It's going to say all loyalist land has to be returned. They're going to talk about who gets what fishing grounds, who's able to get what land, and kind of things like that. But the big thing is, after the Treaty of Paris, the war is now over. America is now officially free and independent from the British. So again, to wrap it up, I've talked about what the Treaty of Paris says. Make sure you're taking these notes. As you see, it's a short one. Make sure you're still coming up with that summary on the bottom and you're asking that question so you and I can have that discussion once you are here and in class.